What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. We're nearing the end of the second week of the Hecate limited event banner, and I've got a couple of tickets to pull. So I was thinking that we would dedicate this week's second video towards drawing a couple of tickets from our gacha pulls, because we've had our monthly reset, we can unlock rewards, and usually I'll talk a little bit more about it. It's how I recommend we pull gacha in the mid to late game, just to make sure we get the characters that we want. This time though, we are trying to get another Beastfolk as we continue to expand our collection, trying to add Coco to the lineup. So I'm excited to see how many pulls it takes. Can we get lucky real fast, or is it going to take more than what we're expecting? Let's go ahead and dive right in.
I wanna be immortal, like a god in the sky. I wanna be a silk flower.
So as you saw at the beginning of the video, it looks like Enemy Girls Gacha has gone through a bit of a makeover, and now we have the Goddess of Fate full title officially on the loading screen. So the channel might see a little bit of an icon change as soon as I get my hands on that logo. But it's still in our hearts known as Anime Girls Gacha. The waifu RPG is gone, disappeared. I don't know what happened to that, but I've been titling the videos Goddess of Fate, Anime Girls, so that we just know where we are in this current transition. But if you're looking to download the game on the Play Store, it's going to be Goddess of Fate, and it's going to have a picture of Mephis. So I think we should go ahead and just quickly look at one of our events, see how it's going. Lucky Flip. The reason why I did not recommend this at the beginning of the last video covering this week's events was because these wishes are really trying patience here. So as you can see, this was the result of my first 3 rounds, where the first 5 are not the grand prize. So mark ticket. Finally, here we go. I need to wait until today's reset to be able to grab it. So we'll go ahead and get our next one. Look at that. We want to pull yellow tickets, so we're going to grab the yellow tickets. And now we still have 6 on this floor. So let's go ahead and get started. Can we get lucky and pull the card early? Not looking good so far. Oh, I spoke really fast. We went ahead and got it. 2 cards extra. Look at that. I think I'm feeling lucky. I don't know what to think about this. We are going to get another draw. Remember, because if you're cumulatively flipping your cards, you're going to earn rewards the more time you do it. I think as free to play, we should be able to get to the 50. So let's go ahead and draw something else. More tickets, because we want Coco, and we should be able to get at least another set. So we got the gold, we got the candy. Wow. A little bit of pet feed. Oh, that's not what we want. Exorium and the gems. So we'll take the gems. But again, it's our last one. So out of our first 5 floors, 4 of them have been the very last one for the grand prize. So still 2. We want to move on to our next floor because we're good. Look at that. So if you manage to make it to floor 6, this is where you have some interesting decisions to make. If you're over level 90 and grinding artifact tickets, here they are. But what we want are gems and sacrificial stones. So that's these here. These sacrificial stones are needed to pull for your angel and demon, or should I say saint and darkened character. Whoop, Freudian slip there. And then also gems. So the gems are much more universal. If you're saving for a limited character on one of the banners that come out during the weeks, it's not saint or dark, then the gems might be more flexible for you, because you can also pick up a daily purchase of sacrificial stones during the altar events. So because gems are just a little bit more common than the sacrificial stones, you know, even though gems are great, I will always take the sacrificial stones as much as we can get, because you can save up gems and buy sacrificial stones in addition. But angel, oh, another slip. Saint and Darken characters are just that rare. So sacrificial stones all the way if you're grinding through the first couple of floors up to 11, where I think then you get the mark. This mark option 4 box is really good. Take the mark box. It's even more worth it than the rainbow tickets. So yep, we got it. But as you can see, we're now up to 9 cards. One of them includes a couple extra sacrificial stones, which that's pretty cool. But that's going to take us 9 attempts to clear out each floor, which if it's the last one, I'm going to feel a little bad. But that's where we stand with Lucky Flip. I don't recommend spending on it unless you're feeling incredibly lucky. Alright, so Hecate, yeah, she's still rolling around. I am fighting some of the strongest battles, trying to really decide if I want to add her to my team. I am not quite clear on that yet, but don't worry. If we do draw, it will be on the channel. But we are going into first encounter because now, as you can see, it's been the last 30 days since I did my last group of pools. This time we are going to be targeting Coco, and we also have Sun Shanice, because I know at this era of the game, you know, I am about 90 days into the game, just over. Control girls are going to start showing up in the arena player versus player modes, with, you know, Hecate, folks having their mortars, folks having their morstas, folks having even Coco, even other enemy Shanices. But Shanice is like the anti-control girl, so if you're able to get copies of her once you're like in that level 90 to 100 range, it's actually pretty good insurance, so that you know that your team can handle the enemy control girls. But I'll go over a quick review of Coco on this video, since that's the girl that we want to add to our team. Speaking of control, Icy, and then also just Chica in here because she's a really good starter SR character. Good if you're playing humans, or you're using Annie or Hiro and Yoru, the twins. This way, you have an extra DPS to help out your Jewel, help out your Louise, your Striker Sukuyami, sorry. And just plays well with Claire, Annie, Lena on the human team. So if you're building humans and you're at the very early start of a server, Chica is a really good secondary DPS to add to your team. And you can hold her own, believe it or not. So that's what we want. We're going after Coco. The Beastfolk banner for me has Eve and Elena, but I've already got these characters built up. It's really just Coco. Because she was added here and didn't really get a rainbow banner yet in my server, or at least for my cluster, I am relying on this banner to try and get her. So through dailies, I've already gone down to 25. So let's go ahead and do some pools. I think I have my CV audio all the way up, so we are going to disable that for now, because it gets really loud in here. So first 10 pool. I'm not gonna get lucky. Just a couple of extra shards. We'll use those to try and level up our Oath Union. Next one, nothing either. Okay, a couple of extra characters, but we've got a guarantee now. So let's see where our 50-50 takes us. We should see a banner up here if it's SSR, so we get the gold banner, but it's not going to be Coco or Shanice. So we've got Chica. All right, a little bit of a bugged item out here. Looks like her skirt sticks up on the screen. You know, it's sticking up so far that there you go. One thing about the new logo though is that it does cover up her face on the main screen, so at least here, you know, you've got a full view of all her assets. Yikes. So yeah, we got her. I think looks like just one before. Yep, just one before the pity. So we're still pulling. We're gonna get an extra one. Wow. Back-to-back pools for an SR character, and we're gonna add Shihi to the lineup, and looking good. This will help us develop the Oath Union for the evolved, since I already have Shihi as a healer. On that topic, Shihi is probably one of the best SR healers to build, probably between her, Rose, and Claire. So you have those options to consider. Shihi being really powerful because she can revive a girl on your team. So already we've reached the first threshold. This is why I advise people consider saving tickets so that one, you can make the most use out of the wish list. What's important here is like if I only had 40 tickets and I pulled Nagachika, that'd take me another 40 tickets to save up to where I want to be at to force the pity to work in my favor. But Chica's gone, so the odds of us getting her again, you know, it's still there, it can happen, but now we're more likely to get one of our other three. So saving around 150 160 tickets at a time is the right way to do the wish list. But also if you rate every 30 days, you can get extra rewards along with it. So here's extra yellow tickets, a blind SR box, and then a selection SR option box. So I can get another copy of Chica, get my Icy. This is how I built a lot of my characters. So continuing on, it's just gonna be additional shards. Oh, we got it early, and it's Louise. So we're gonna lose our 50-50 for the SR, but I am still excited that ahead of the pity, we were able to pull ourselves a Louise. So just go ahead and skip over to the Louise animation. Wow, it looks like it's a double pull. We're gonna get Icy. All right, so for all penguin fans out there, I actually never realized that there's a penguin hunger foot. That's pretty great. So we're gonna get Icy as well. So look at that, it's taking out one of the SR from our wish list and adding Louise as well. So we're gonna get a bonus SSR with this. Exciting. This is, I don't know, maybe it's just YouTuber luck here. This is great. Exciting. Louise, I am building her too. That lets us get her oath up a little bit. So look at that, it even ticks one off. But if we go to our wish list, we've got Icy. So effectively, we got Icy ahead of our wish list and also a copy of an SSR. Excellent. And we still got plenty of tickets to keep drawing. Let's keep it going. So here we got additional shards. It is what it is. Looks like this is gonna also be additional shards. It is what it is. But we reached our next threshold. Add some tickets to our counter. Perfect. Let's keep it going. All right, more shards here. All right, 9. So we should get something in this pool. It is an SR. Look at it. Is it Coco? It's Coco! Yes! Fantastic. All right, one more copy. This is going to let us 5-star her immediately. We're going to go ahead and skip ahead. Look at her in her glory. She probably forgot her memories here. Coco is with us. Beautiful. Beautiful. With her ice pendant and everything looking good. I am happy. So yeah, adding Coco to our selection. Now listen to me. This is very careful for folks that are collecting their yellow SR tickets and are trying to make the most use out of it. So if you are specifically aiming for one SSR character from your wish list, this would be the time when you would stop pulling. So if I was really needing to build Coco, even if I didn't draw any SSRs and I drew Coco with my first pity counter on the wish list, I would stop right there and wait until the next day's reset to try pulling again, because you can make the most out of the wishlist system by just drawing until you get the character that you need. Sometimes you may be unlucky and not draw it at all and keep losing the pities. It's just the way that we have to navigate these waters with the gacha system. But here I've drawn it. I have Coco in my fragment inventory now. But I will continue drawing because I also would like a copy of Sun Janice. Now, if I don't get her on the next pity, that's where I will personally stop drawing, because there's a high chance here that it could just be another SSR. It is 40 tickets, and I will wait until the reset for tomorrow to try and draw again and maybe get another copy of Coco. So very happy that we drew her pretty early, adding her to the inventory. So at this time we can make her a 5-star. If you have any vouchers, you can also use those if it's a character you really want to build. But because this is the first encounter banner, every month as you're saving these yellow tickets, getting extra rewards from your cumulative summon rewards chart, and resetting your wish list gives you the best chance to build characters that are in the first encounter banner. So not lucky here with any early pulls. We're in our last 8. Let's see who we're gonna get. And it's not gonna be an SSR because we're not seeing the banner, so we've lost that pity counter and are moving on. Probably one of the girls from our wish list. And it's not, I think this is, I'm forgetting her name. It says Joan up here. Okay. So we've kind of lost this one. It was a little bit earlier from our pity, so, you know, we're down 3. We'll take that, but, you know, the smart play to do is to stop here. We're not going to get as lucky, you know. Maybe we let it roll, but our priority right now is Coco. I am not a new human player, but if you were new human and you have Sunshanis in your list, she should be on your wish list. For SSRs, your other one would probably be Jewel or Hero and Yoru. I mean, probably by the time that she joins your banner, you probably already have one of these 2 built. But even if you don't have any of them built, Sunshanis kind of works on her own. She doesn't really need to be on a new human team, but just really helps you in both player versus player and also slightly in PvE. If any of the modes that you're playing on have a strong control girl that's just holding you back, Sunshanis might just kick her off the screen. So good stuff there. But the reason we're here is we were trying to draw for Coco. So over to our Beastfolk menu, you can see I am a Beastfolk main. I also use Coco as my main girl here for control in my Beastfolk team, as well as Icy, because she's also like an SR character. So we're gonna go back up here, turn this on ever so slightly, and then back to our menu. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and awaken our Coco. Her animation here for leveling up is pretty cute, where she's just getting taken out by some snow, you know, unaccounted for. But she is, of course, the clan leader for the Snow Ferrets, which is some pretty nice lore. And then also we've got Icy with her penguins hanging out. So 2 5 stars off of this banner pool. Looks good to me. Looks like here when she's attacked, she has a chance to silence her attacker for a turn. So good defensive skill. Might actually come in use when we are in the joint exercise. Might have to ask someone here to recenter that, but yeah, center prevents the target from using skills. All right, so we're looking at Coco. Basic attack does nothing. Yeah, you know, usually the Beastfolk are like this. They don't want to be using their basic attacks for anything anyways. But her Snowball Crash has a very nice multiplier, even though she's a control girl. So, you know, we're not expecting high number of attacks and DPS potential here, but she will do it to 3 random enemies with the 50% chance of inflicting fatigue that lasts for at least 1 turn. Fatigue is like a soft control when it comes to Coco. All it really does is that it means that a skill ability will cost 1 more to trigger. So if they have 4 energy, they're actually going to need 5 to trigger it. And it's not per energy point, it's just +1 to the number of EP or energy points needed to cast that skill. When we start leveling up, she's now level 5, so we're at level 2 here first. When an enemy's fatigue state ends, looks like Coco has a 30% chance to inflict a paralyze to them for 1 turn. So paralyze does not let them use a basic attack. Really interesting. So she has both the active skill blocking and the basic skill blocking. And whenever they are exhausted, she will gain some damage reduction for 1 turn, up to 10 stacks. If we level this up, this is going to be her Oath 2. The 30% chance for paralyze goes up to 50. And for the fatigue, it stays at a 4% damage reduction. The real kicker here, though, is this one. Any targets with fatigue takes 15% extra damage from Beastfolk allies. And like you kind of saw on the E video, we like to do extra damage with our direct attacks. So already looking good. At least she has a little bit of extra boost from her control, letting our Beastfolk do extra damage. The second skill, when you make her 3-star, is always the same for all the main races. So just getting an extra EP and stat boosts. Then for 4-star, we're looking at increasing the target of her skill by 1, restoring 1 energy to all allies after using a skill. So again, a little bit of energy feed, more enemies to potentially inflict fatigue on. Looks good to me. When you get her Oath 3 completed, though, it's still the +1 targets to her skill, restores energy, and when she uses a skill, if the target already has fatigue, will restore more energy. So this is an additional 1 energy point to your 3 random allied Beastfolk girls when fatigue ends on an enemy. So I guess similar to how she puts a paralyzed skill on them, she has an additional 50% chance to reapply a fatigue status to the enemy. This increases the cost to use skills by 2 energy points. So instead of just 1 energy point, if you have 4 energy on a girl, she's now going to need 6 to cast that skill. Very, very interesting, and something that, again, it's like a soft control. If the enemy is spamming energy on their side, then they're gonna have a way around this. But by applying fatigue to the enemy, it's going to still trigger her skill over here if you have her Oath 2 ready, to let enemies take an additional 15% increased damage. Yeah, wow. Finally, when you make her 4-star, which we have just done, we are inflicting fatigue at the start of the battle to all enemies. And if they already are in fatigue, when fatigue is being inflicted, reduces the damage boost of DPS targets. So any girls that are dedicated DPS would do 20% less damage. The boost of damage reduction for control, support, and healer girls will be reduced by 25%. And we also reduce the damage reduction that enemy tanks can get by 30%. Alright, so already reducing it. This is going to help her just completely be annoying to the enemy team by reducing their buffs pretty significantly. The important thing here is damage boost reduction on enemy DPS girls, especially enemy Beastfolk teams or a team running 0, is pretty effective because they like to do direct damage as well. So we're already reducing their numbers. If it's indirect damage or damage over time, this does not really affect that. So yeah, looking good on that. Our pendant, which we've been working on slowly, ours is only at a level, I think I have it here, level 5. So we have 1 copy of an extra 5. If we can get it to rank 7, our chances to apply fatigue raises to 100%. Very strong. Her weapon here is actually very important, because if we can increase the chances to apply a control status, then we're going to take that every day. And if we get our Oath 1 rank on Coco, it's going to unlock this extra ability where if a target with fatigue restores their energy, there's a 50% chance for Coco to restore her own energy. At the same time, characters in the same race as Coco will gain that extra +8 critical damage reduction. So yeah, very, very nice. And you get all her other boosts. I don't quite have this core leveled up. I need to get to level 8 so I can get the medal, where I would probably put a vitality medal if I had it for more energy, because we want her to keep dropping her skills every time. But she's already using her exhaustion effect, applies weakness. Okay, and then over here you're getting her fatigue 100%. Well, we were able to use the wishlist to our advantage and develop our Coco up to 5-star. So now she joins our rank of Beastfolk girls as well as Icy, having some defensive silence abilities. Watch Coco and Icy on the same team together. If your opponent doesn't have enough energy to cast their skills, has to only use their basics. But if they're paralyzed, then they don't get to use any attack at all. So then they get fully controlled. Icy with silence just helps to make sure that they also cannot use their active skills anyways. So I use Icy whenever we get the evolved boss in the base boss to fight. Helps just increase the damage of Cheryl, Eve, and Puff on this side of the board. So what are you thinking? Any girls that you're trying to pull from the normal first encounter wish list? Drop it below in the comments. Let's see how lucky you've gotten with your pulls. If there's a character that you're trying to pull and want to know some more details about, feel free to drop it in the comments as well, or find me on the community Discord. I want to thank everyone for hanging out this evening. It was a pretty informal, kind of chill evening just to talk about the characters that we're trying to pull as I fight my battles and maybe try to get a copy of Hecate, her weapon, and maybe her mark. What if we just did a quick bonus now that I see that I actually have enough to draw for a mark? Can we end the video on a high note? All right, we're gonna get some decent marks. This one, you get 4 selections. I only have my 4 up here, so you can see I'm kind of focused on a tank. Which one is it gonna be? I forgot we had this. Might as well just end the video on a high note. We'll let this run through, go to the animation, go. Can we draw this early? We're gonna get damage deflection. Okay, that was one of my marks. This is gonna be for my Charlotte. What this does is gonna increase the damage reflected back to an enemy. Where is that mark down here? I'll show it real quick. It's not a mark for everyone. Actually, it's for no one except Charlotte. But we're increasing the damage reflection by 30%. She has 80 built in. So this is going to be hilarious. So we'll go ahead and add that to her. What a funny mark. We got it for our girl Charlotte. She was also the answer to one of this week's trivia questions, so it's well deserved. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. If anyone has any thoughts on marks or characters they want to pull, let's start the conversation down below. I want to thank everyone again for hanging out, and I hope that you have the best luck in your gacha. Have a good one, y'all.